Hello everyone and welcome to my review of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the video game. So, ladies and gentlemen, like last time, we're gonna start off by going through some of the development of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, like we did with Sonic 1. So, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, let's get right into it. We're going to go through development, then we're going to go through, levels, gameplay, all that fun stuff. So, kicking it off, let's go with the development. So, the original Sonic the Hedgehog was developed by Sonic Team in Japan and released in 1991 around the world. The title greatly increased the popularity of Sega and helped make their company a formidable rival for Nintendo, who before that controlled the video game market. However, before the game was released, programmer Yuji Naka quit Sega of Japan due to dissatisfaction and financial issues with the company. While the first Sonic the Hedgehog was still under development, American game designer Mark Cerny, I think that's his name, or Cerny, I'm going to say Cerny, who had previously worked in Sega games such as Galactic Protector, established the Sega Technical Institute, the STI, in the United States, with the idea of hiring aspiring American game designers who would receive training by Sega Japan's most experienced minds. The game designer of the original Sonic the Hedgehog, Hirokazu Yasuhara, was one of the first people who was offered a position in the team, and he accepted a year later when he made up his mind. While meeting with his colleagues in Japan as usual, Cerny learned of Naka's situation and thus paid him a visit and listened to the reason why he left. Naka was ultimately convinced to rejoin Sega at the STI, shielded from Sega of Japan's critique and with a higher salary, because it all comes down to that money. Various other members of Sonic Team joined him too. Meanwhile, the rest of the development team stayed in Japan to develop Sonic the Hedgehog CD at the request of the president of Sega. In September 1991, Naka moved to California, where he reunited with Yasuhara. Around this time, with other original titles around the way, Cerny pitched a sequel to Sonic the Hedgehog, but Sega management believed it was far too soon for one. With no other new project assigned, the team would make some experiments for the eventual sequel. In November, however, Cerny got a frantic call from his superiors who had reversed course and told him that they needed the game. The pressure was so much that the release date of the game was originally set to release in October 1992, 1 month before the final release, meaning that the team only had 11 months to complete the game. With 2 months having been lost from the original schedule, Cerny had to scramble to get his team organized to complete the game in time. Full-scale development of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 began in early 1992. At first, the developers were exclusively Americans, as the Japanese side of the team had not arrived yet due to visa complications. Former Sega of America marketing director Al Nielsen said that the STI wanted to go all out with Sonic 2 and ensure that it was as successful as its predecessor. The team, which consisted of just 10 people, brainstormed for new ideas to make the formula work. One of them was to make Sonic faster by increasing his limited speed compared to the first game. A new move called the Spin Dash was added so players could reach super speeds in an instant without feeling too exasperated. Earlier versions of Sonic 2 had a feature where Sonic would be hurt if he crashed into a wall at high speed, but that was removed from later builds. Thank God. I would have been so mad. Meanwhile, Yasuhara had various plans for the game and was visualizing story and gameplay ideas for it. He conceived a story that was very different from the final one, being time travel based. This premise was that Dr. Eggman had gone back in time to alter Earth's history, prompting Sonic to travel to the past as well to prevent the creation of an Eggman empire. At first, 4 timelines were conceived: the present, the past, an alternate present modified by Eggman, and the ruined future under the Doctor's reign. These ideas were ultimately scrapped since they were seen as too ambitious for the game's release schedule, and the team decided to lean towards the first game's streamlined design. Nevertheless, some of the zones that were conceived also made it into the final product. Hilltop Zone was originally the past version of Green Hill. That's crazy. While Oil Ocean was from the modified present, and both Chemical Plant and Casino Night came from the future ruled by the villain. A similar concept was used by Sonic CD, released the following year. So yeah, they just took this time travel idea and just we'll move that to Sonic CD because they have more time to make this. That's a cool thing to note. Hilltop Zone was originally the past version of Green Hill. That's crazy. And you know what? If you think about how that level is made, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Wow. A multiplayer mode is planned to be featured in the first Sonic the Hedgehog, but could not make it into the final product. Naka managed to figure out a way to incorporate 2-player split-screen gameplay by making the 2 entire game screens on top of each other and squashing them to fit with the theater's 4.3 ratio. He wanted to implement this feature in the title so that siblings could play together, believing that this made games more fun. He wanted the second playable character to be cute and endearing. and hold a deep admiration for Sonic. A contest was held at SCI to decide this character. The entry of Yasuhishi Yamaguchi, originally the main artist and level designer for Sonic Team, won. His character was named Miles Power, a play on the term miles per hour, a unit of measurement. However, power was changed to prower due to making the character sound too powerful. Additionally, marketing director Al Nielsen and product manager Madeline Schroeder convinced the team to change the name from Miles to Tails, which upset Yamaguchi. Following a meeting, the team and Yamaguchi came to a compromise. The name Miles Prower would serve as the character's legal name, while Tails would be his nickname, resulting in the full name of Miles Tails Prower. Other proposed characters were Boomer the Turtle and did not prevail in the end. There is art of Boomer the Turtle. Just imagine, man, if we would have had Sonic and Boomer. Damn, man, that'd be crazy. I wonder if Boomer was maybe inspiration for Tommy Turtle in the Archie. I wonder. The development was complicated due to cultural differences between the Japanese and American developers. Despite the fact that both sides were on friendly terms, there were many contrasts in their working styles. The Japanese were among Sega's top developers, making it difficult for the relatively inexperienced Americans to keep up. Both parties also had an entirely different work ethic, and many worked through the night and even slept in their office cubicles. Former STI member Tim Skelly believed that Naka would have been happier working in an all-Japanese team. In addition, due to the sheer scale of the project and the work environment in the United States, the small team was left to do all the work themselves. A lot of content ended up being scrapped from the game due to memory limitations. In retrospect, Nielsen said Sonic 2 probably could have been 3 times the size had the developers left everything in that was planned to be in there. Amongst much of the scrapped content was Hidden Palace Zone, which appeared in many advertisements of the game. It was intended to be a zone with 2 acts, where Sonic would transform into Super Sonic after collecting all the 7 Chaos Emeralds. However, it was then changed to 1 act before the developers eventually abandoned the proposal, and instead allowed the players to act like Super Sonic regardless of the zone. Other famously scrapped zones include Wood Zone, Sand Shower Zone, and Cyber City Zone. Naka recalls that as many as 5 stages were scrapped, one of them being cut from the game just a few days before release despite having been fully completed due to the lack of memory. The stakes for this game were so high that it was polished up until the very last possible moment, and then flown to Japan for production by 2 people on 2 separate planes, just in case something went wrong with one plane. That's how fucking paranoid they were. They had 2 planes with this fucking game to make sure nothing happened. So, now with that fun little development dealt with, let's talk about it. Sonic 2. Gameplay-wise, Sonic feels pretty much the same as he did in Sonic 1. He really doesn't feel that much different. His sprite is a lot better than Sonic 1, that's for sure. But yeah, he operates pretty much the exact same. I don't feel too much difference with him. Tails, being there allows for a lot of other things. You know, he can use Tail to fly up, and he is also super fucking annoying. But we'll get to some of the more annoying bits that Tail does. But Tails, most of the time, besides flying, he's just a fucking nuisance. Like, he really just annoys me most of the time, and he hinders your gameplay a lot. The stages. So, here are the stages we have. We have much more than Sonic 1. We have Emerald Hill, which is basically just Green Hill. Like, let's be honest. It's just Green Hill. Is it better than Green Hill? I don't know. It's still fun. You know, it's probably as fun as Green Hill, but it is just a new Green Hill. Chemical Plant, that's a lot of fun. If you can avoid the water level, like I did, the water section, a lot of fun. Aquatic Ruin, which is an ancient ruin with underwater sections and unstable pillars. That's alright. I think that's the first level where I started to have a bit of problem. Like, I don't know. Casino Night, I hate those fucking pinball sections. They are awful. Like, if they're there every now and then, it's like, okay, but it's like, oh my god, like, you could get stuck in, like, pits with that stuff. It gets annoying. Hilltop has lava, and they got like these like little like platforms you stand on, and they kind of like lower you down, and you have to get off before they reach the destination, because then they'll fall. I had no problem with Hilltop. I thought Hilltop was a fun zone. Mystic Cave has vines, where you have to like grab onto the vine, and you'll like pull the vine down, and that will like put a new platform, or you grab onto the vine and it pulls you up. It's okay. Mystic Cave is just kind of okay for me. In Mystic Cave, this is where you can get to Hidden Palace Zone, in the Christian Whitehead port and in the one featured in Sonic Origins, which I played, which we will get to that later, but this is how you get there. Oil Ocean has fans that you gotta kind of like, so the fans like push Sonic away, so you have to just keep running and running to like beat the fans. There are these cannons that you go into that like shoot you all around, and then there are these like, I don't know what's like the correct term for them, but they're kind of like pipes. You kind of stand on them, and then the top of the pipe will like boost into the air, and then you kind of use that to get to where you want to go. And the whole level is surrounded by oil. Unlike water, well, kind of like water, you don't die immediately in the oil. You just like start sinking, so you kind of have to like jump up to like kind of stop dying in the oil. Metropolis Zone, this is the worst level, easily the worst level in the game. Just a bunch of like, they have like these spike platforms, which when you understand how they work and you understand like which direction they go in, like their pattern, it's all right. It just can be annoying. There are these screw platforms where if you run left, the screw goes down. You run right, the screw goes up. That can be, like, that's all right. But what ruins them is the enemies in this level. The Badniks, which is a starfish badnik, which explodes into multiple different fucking pieces and just ruins your life. It's bullshit. They put that thing, like, at every fucking corner. And, like, these Mantis Badniks, I don't know their full name. I don't care. They're awful, too. Like, they're just fucking annoying. I hate both of these Badniks. This level probably wouldn't be as bad if they weren't there all the time. Because even if they were there, like, sometimes it'd be like, okay, but they're there, like, all the fucking time. It just gets annoying. Sky Chase is Sky Chase. It's alright. I'm on Sky Chase. The idea of you being in the sky, getting to Eggman's fortress is cool. The controls are a bit wonky, and I think that's what kind of does it for me. Is like, so you're in the air, but your mind plays the trick on you that you need to stay underneath the tornado, right? Or you die. But the tornado always follows you, so it kind of plays a real trick with your mind. And then you have to, like, use the controls to move the tornado up and down, and you have to deal with, like, all the badniks coming at you. It's like an eh. It's not, like, the worst thing, right? But it's like, eh. Wing Fortress is tough. There's a part of the section where you just have to take a hit. Like, you have to get hit by the turbines to continue, and I think that's any level that requires you to take a hit to continue and has to make you use invincibility frames to go forward is stupid. Like, utterly stupid. There is an upper section you can take, but it's useless if you don't have the Chaos Emeralds, because there's a jump that you can't make if you don't have Supersonic's, like, high jump. So it's dumb. So, like, I got there, initially. Like, I got there as regular Sonic, which I probably wasn't supposed to, but I managed to do it, and it's like, I couldn't continue. Yeah, it's dumb. And then there is the Death Egg, which is just bosses, so I'm not really going to go over that. But that is the stages. I think the best stage, like the stage I had the most fun in, would be Emerald Hill and Hilltop. Those are the two stages I had the most fun in. Chemical Plant is good. I will say that. Chemical Plant is good. Yeah, I would think like those are like the best stages in the game. Worst stage is Metropolis. Easily Metropolis. Then we have the bosses. So again, every stage has bosses. So Emerald Hill has the Egg Drillster. This is just like, an easy boss to get you started. You don't, like, if you take a hit from this, you're kind of like, well, come on, man. I should say all the bosses, like in Sonic 1, I believe it was 6 hits was a boss. This game is 8 hits, so they upped the hit count by 2. Egg Drillster, he's fine. He's a fine intro, He's a fine intro. Then there's the Egg Poison and Chemical Plant. So this is just Eggman in the Eggmobile, and he just, like, dips some of the chemical on you every now and then. And you're sitting on a platform, and, like, the center of the platform is stationary, but then the sides of the platform keep shifting. So you kind of just want to stay on the center and just hit him. So Egg Poison, not too bad. Egg Hammer for Aquatic Ruin. That's not a bad one. So you stand on, like, these 2 pillars, and you have to just, jump on the top of the pillar, get on the top of the pillar to hit Eggman. But he will, like, hit the top of the pillar and cause, like, an arrow to fire out, and the arrow will stick to the other pillar, and you use that to climb. It's a fine one. Casino Night is... Ooh, this might be the worst boss. This might be the worst boss. Is you're just he's in the Eggmobile, and he like starts dropping bombs at you, right? But the thing is, you're in like a fucking pinball game, and you have to use like the fucking pinball things to boost yourself up in the air to hit him. I hate that. That's stupid. Like, that's a dumb boss. I think it's a stupid boss. Like, absolutely dumb. Compared to the other three, yeah, this one sucks. It's dumb. Then Hilltop has the Egg Scorcher Mark II. Yeah, I don't mind the Egg Scorcher. He kind of like comes out of the lava, and you just have to hit him a couple times, and then he'll like fire his ray at you, and you have to move from the platform because he'll engulf it in fire. You know, very kind of similar to like what he did in Marble Zone. But yeah, Egg Scorcher is a good fight. Mystic Cave has the Egg Digger, where he will like, you know, he now has like two digging claws on his side, and he'll go up into the ceiling, and he'll start like digging into the ceiling, and rocks will fall, and you have to avoid like sharp stalactites hitting you, and then, you know, when he's on the floor, you take your hits on him. It's an alright boss. Oil Ocean is the Egg Marine, so he's like, you know, in a submarine, and he'll pop out of the oil every now and then. You just gotta hit him, and his attacks are, he fires like a claw at you that you gotta jump over, and then there's a gun, and the gun will shoot 3 shots, and it will either hit a shot up in the air, a shot like normal when you're standing, or a shot on the floor. And if he hits the floor, the entire floor is engulfed in the fire, and you have to jump up to avoid it. Egg Marine's fine. I would get hit, like, for no reason. It's not like, you know, like, oh, like, the ray hit me. Like, if the ray hit me, the ray hit me. That's fine. Or if the claw hit me, the claw hit me. That's fine. But it's like, I would be just attacking him in the Marine, and then suddenly Sonic gets hit for no reason, and I'm still hitting him in the hitbox. It was stupid. Metropolis has the Egg Bouncer. This one has Eggman surrounded by, like, holographic clones of himself, and he'll like fire one of them, and you just have to like hit it once to break it, and then when he like comes down, and they all like surround him as like a shield, and you have to like hit him in between them. It's alright. You kind of, this one you use invincibility frames a lot to just like take the hit and just jump up to hit him and get your coin back. That's kind of what I did a lot. When all his holograms are gone, he then starts firing a laser at you. But yeah, Egg Bouncer's fine. Wing Fortress has Laser Prison. This boss fucking sucks. So, there's like a laser up in the ceiling. And, you know, every now and then it will uncover itself so you can jump up to hit it, right? And what you have to do is you have to avoid the laser, because the laser will track you and follow you, so you have to avoid that. In order to hit the laser, you need to get on these 3 moving platforms that are moving around the boss, right? To make it even harder, though, because if that wasn't going to be hard enough, the platforms have spikes, so if you jump wrong near the platform, you get hit. Like, hitting the laser and avoiding it was gonna be tough enough. I gotta avoid the fucking platform I'm on, too? I was like, come on, man. And at the time, I was like, man, this might be harder than the final boss. Oh, fuck. Final boss is the Death Egg. 2 boss battles back-to-back. Mecha Sonic, this is where he debuted. Mecha Sonic debuts here. And the Death Egg Robot. Now here's the thing. Mecha Sonic's fight is not bad. It's really not. Once you learn to cheat, which is really fun, which is you stand in front of like where he's gonna like jump down from and land. If you stand in front of it and you look the other way and you do a spin dash, you can get like 4 hits on him immediately. It's funny. Then he'll like, you know, he'll do his own spin dash, and he'll like zoom across to get you, all that type of stuff. He's a fine boss. Like, you can beat him pretty easily once you get the hang of it. I ended up getting the hang of this fucker so many times because I had to fight him a lot of times. I don't know. I lost count. It's well over 10 times I had to fight this guy. And not just because I lost to him, because I also lost to the Death Egg Robot. So what makes this zone bullshit is you have to do 2 boss battles back to back. No checkpoints. So if you lose to Death Egg Robot after you beat Mecha, you gotta go fight Mecha again. No rings. You heard me right. You have to do both these battles back to back without getting hit once. That's fucking bullshit. That is bullshit. Now, I beat the final boss of Sonic 1 with 0 rings and a no-hit, but that's because I sucked and I died the first time and I lost all my rings, so that's a me problem. You can go through all of Scrap Brain of Act 3 with your rings right? And you get to fighting the final zone, and you have rings, right? Death Egg, you just start with 0 fucking rings from the get-go. Like, there's no you keep rings or nothing. You start with no fucking rings. Why? Who hurt you when making this, guys? Like, I want to know who hurt you so badly that you decided to do this to me. Like, it's bullshit. It genuinely is. Like, that's not good. Like, what you should have done is, I can get starting with Mecha, no rings. Right? You beat Mecha, and there's a little cutscene where you chase Eggman to the Death Egg robot. While I'm chasing him, I should run into, like, 3 rings. You know? Like, because that's bullshit. And the Death Egg robot's hitbox sucks. You have to be so precise. He killed me a lot of times. Like, for, like, and it's like some bullshit fucking reason, right? It's stupid. His hitbox is awful. I started to operate on the fact where I'm like, I'm going to hit him when I know he's vulnerable, right? And I was just operating off, I don't care about beating him quick, I just care about winning, right? His attack, once you get the hang of Death Egg Robot, he's not a tough boss. He's really not. It's just the bullshit to get there is so stupid. But overall for the bosses, I think, like, they continue the trend of being cool bosses from Sonic 1. Like, they really do. I would say the worst boss, in terms of just uninspired and, like, I don't want to fight you, is Eggmobile in Casino Night. Hardest boss is the final one, where you have to do the fucking gauntlet. Fuck that. Laser Prison's also pretty hard, too. But, like, all the other bosses, they're fine and fun. Then we can move on to the special stages. So the special stages are different from Sonic 1. They're not that fucking turning maze shit. It's the half pipe, which has, like, been the staple of special stages in how many fucking Sonic games since. Half pipes, better than Sonic 1. They are better than the mazes, right? They are fun, unlike Sonic 1's, where I just want to kill myself. They're actual fun. There is challenges to them where you have to avoid the bombs and all that. The worst part of these special stages is Tails. When you do these with Tails, he will pick up rings. And if Tails gets hit, he drops the rings and your ring count goes down. So the way these special stages work is you need to reach the checkpoint with a certain amount of rings. And if you do that, then you move on to the next part. And then the next part, it's 3 sections. You do the first part, you get the right rings. Okay, you move on to the second part. You do that right with the right amount of rings. Great. You do the third part, you get the Chaos Emerald. Tails will pick up rings that affect your ring count. So if he gets hit and you don't, you still lose rings. Fuck that little fox boy. He's ruined, I don't know how many attempts at special stages for me. He's ruined because he got hit and I didn't, and he lost rings for me. It is bullshit. The ability for Tails to pick up rings should never have been allowed. Like, that's a dumb decision, because again, he can get hit, and it affects me, and I didn't get hit. That's bullshit. So the ability for Tails to pick up rings never should have been allowed. Or, Tails can pick up a ring, right, for you, but if he gets hit, nothing should happen to you, because you weren't hit. So yeah, special stages, they're better than Sonic 1, by far. Much more fun. They're still hard as fuck at times, though. Level select is still here, so the level select code is up, 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 down, 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 left, right, left, right. And then this operates the level select. So you can now, in the level select, you can find a secret 8th special stage. With a certain combination, you can get all of the Chaos Emeralds, which is something Sonic 1 doesn't have. So you don't even have to go through all the half pipes. You can just input this combo and go like ding, and it'll be like, you got all the Chaos Emeralds. Cool. So what you do is you go to the sound test and you play in order 4, 1, 2, and 6. And then once you hit 6, the Chaos Emerald noise will go and be like, you got all the Chaos Emeralds. You could play Proto Palace Zone, which is the prototype version of Hidden Palace Zone in the game, in the Christian Whitehead port and the Origins port. So you go to the sound text and you hit in order 3, 3, 3, B, 10, 10, 10, 4. And then you can play Proto Palace Zone by playing Hidden Palace Zone. So, Hidden Palace Zone, let's talk about it. So, Hidden Palace Zone was intended to be a 2-act stage being kind of a hidden level that could be accessed through Mystic Cave. It was supposed to be the zone where Sonic would learn how to become Super Sonic after collecting all of the 7 Chaos Emeralds. However, it was changed to one act before it was eventually scrapped due to time constraints and memory. Instead, the player would access Super Sonic regardless of the zone they're in. Players first noticed a somber music track listed as Sound Test 10 that did not play anywhere in the game, leading some to wonder if it was related to the elusive zone that was in preview images. When Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was released, the level icon for Hidden Palace was spotted in the standalone Sound Test option, suggesting that remnants of Hidden Palace still existed in the game data of Sonic 2. It was eventually discovered that players could still access a garbled version of it with a cheat device, confirming that the unused music track was intended for the zone. However, the zone was overwritten with a vaguely defined Oil Ocean object list as the player falls to their doom when the zone is accessed. A title card still existed for the zone, and garbled stage parts could be accessed by navigating the stage during the debug mode. When the Simon Wah prototype of Sonic 2 was eventually leaked, a much more playable but still incomplete version of Hidden Palace was made available. Only a small part of the level was actually finished, as it cuts off after a certain point. A slot for a second act was also found, but that had even less work done, and it was just a copy of the first act with an empty logic layout. There was much speculation about other features in this version as well, such as the large ramp at the end that cannot be climbed up without a debug mode, and the tubes that were similar to the ones in Chemical Plant. In the 2013 remaster of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 done by Christian Whitehead, this zone could be accessed by going to Mystic Cave Zone in Act 2 and falling through a pit that was the infamous inescapable spike pit in the original. Around halfway through the act, the zone is completely optional. You don't have to play it. Hidden Palace was given its own boss as well, Brass Eggman, which is Eggman is like an organ, and he like plays like a trumpet, and it will cause bombs to fall, and the bombs will fall in water, and you have to avoid the bombs. Then eventually a big bomb will fall, and you have to make sure Eggman is under the big bomb, because the big bomb will explode and a torrent of water will go up in the air, and you have to hope the torrent of water hits Eggman, and then he'll fall down, you can get a couple hits in. So, other modes that are added to this game is Time Attack. Time Attack is a new mode added to the game, which the player has to pass acts in the least amount of time possible, hence the name. The only playable character here is Sonic. All 1-up item boxes have been removed, but the time HUD also counts milliseconds. Boss Attack Zone is added to the zone, and it's just a boss rush. There is 2-player mode where you can play as Sonic, Tails, or Knuckles, if you have, Sonic 2 and Knuckles. More playable characters were added in Origins. So when you play Sonic 2 in Origins, and you click play, and you're like, I want to play single player, the option for characters is much more. So it's Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Sonic and Tails, Knuckles and Tails, Amy and Tails. So a lot more options you get there. The soundtrack. So Masamoto Nakamura returned to do the music from Sonic 1. He returned to do it from Sonic 2. So the best songs in the game for me is Emerald Hill. I would honestly say I prefer Emerald Hill's song to Green Hill Zone, to be honest. Emerald Hill is such a good song. I sometimes put Emerald Hill, when I play Sonic Generations, I'm just blowing through modern Green Hill. I just play Emerald Hill, and it works perfectly. Chemical Plant, that's just a fucking iconic song, and it's for a reason. It's really good. Aquatic Ruin is a good song too. I don't want that to be forgotten, how good of a song that is. So is Casino Night. Even though I don't like the level, the song's great. Worst song in the game for me, I said during my playthrough Hilltop, but I think it would be Oil Ocean for me is the worst song in the game. I can listen to Hilltop and be like, yeah, this is fun. Oil Ocean I could never listen to, like outside of playing the level, right? Like I don't think Oil Ocean's that good. And just like Sonic 1, Nakamura's demos are available. So let's play some of his demos. So we'll play the demo for Emerald Hill and then the actual version we got. So here we go. And now, the many re-releases of Sonic 2. So Sonic 2 was re-released in the Sonic compilation for the Genesis, which included Sonic 1 and Mean Bean Machine. For Sonic Jam for the Sega Saturn, the Sega Smash Pack, the Sonic Action 4 Pack, which included this game, CD, 3 Knuckles, and R, the Sonic Mega Collection and Mega Collection Plus, the Sega Genesis Collection for the PS2 and PS3, Sonic Gems Collection, the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection, the Sonic PC Collection, which I went over multiple times. It's the best fucking Sonic compilation there is. The Sonic Classic Collection for the 3DS, which was like all the Genesis games re-released for the 3DS, and is a good way to play them. The Christian Whitehead Remaster for mobile, the Sega Ages port for the Switch, and then Sonic Origins, which is the Christian Whitehead port, but now on console. So overall, Sonic 2, I think it's a much better game than Sonic 1. The zones are much more enjoyable to play through, not a lot of bullshit. The bosses continue being nice, the music's good, a lot more to do, there's a lot more stages. The special stages are a lot better. Adding stuff like Hidden Palace in there is fun. I think Sonic 2 is just, a much better package overall than Sonic 1. It takes what the predecessor did well and just did more of it. So yeah, I think Sonic 2 is a much better game. I gave Sonic 1 a 6.5 out of 10. I would say Sonic 2 ups it by a lot, and it's an 8 out of 10 is where I would go for Sonic 2. It truly is the much better sequel than Sonic 1. So that's going to do it for me. What do you guys think of Sonic 2? Do you like it more than Sonic 1 or not? Let me know in the comments down below. And guys, I will see you all next time.